Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going over our recap for April 1st through the 3rd. Blake, some exciting series so far this week. Heading into the AL first, we had Kansas City versus Baltimore. Baltimore ended up walking off twice against Kansas City. It looks like they're going to be a little bit better this year. The Royals I'm talking about. They added during the offseason. What's your take on the Royals briefly before we get,
Yeah.
through the AL?
Yeah. Bobby Witt's really exciting to watch. Trying to really good double play to get out of the bases loaded jam today. He's exciting to watch. He's much watched TV. Kind of the up and coming youngsters of this league that's going to be a force to reckon with for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get through it though. Texas took 2 of 3 from Tampa. Jays. No hit on Monday. They
One
won
hit.
in the last they
Yeah.
won in the last inning. They got a 2-run homer against Hader, luckily,
Yeah.
to salvage, and then they got one hit yesterday.
Yeah.
Tough series down in Houston for Blake's Jays.
Yep.
Boston swept the A's. Nobody's really surprised by that one. Um, Seattle. We both took Seattle to beat the Guards. The Guards end up taking that series.
Yep.
And then if you want to go through the National League, go for it.
Yeah, obviously, Colorado having a tough start to the year. Dropped a series to Chicago in the Windy City. Pittsburgh continued their dominance to start this season. Took the series in Washington. Cincinnati surprisingly beating the Phillies in Citizens Bank. Kind of surprising. Reds. We're pretty high on the Reds. We're waiting for them to kind of make that next step, and that's a big series win early on in April. St. Louis got by San Diego, also on the road, and the Dodgers, surprisingly, maybe not surprisingly, I thought the Giants would have won maybe one of those games. I didn't think LA would sweep that series, but they're off to a hot start for sure.
Yeah, that was a pretty good series in itself. It's just the Giants just couldn't come through. There were some close games in it.
Hmm.
Shohei hit his first home run as a Dodger.
Yep.
It's good for him on that. And the Giants really threw. I mean, Logan Webb pitched in this series, and still, I mean, Glasnow pitched also, but yeah, sweep with the Giants. We'll see. They got the Padres this weekend. We'll get into that in a bit. But interleague, the Angels swept Miami. Are you surprised by that one, or?
Oh, like, it's puzzling. Like we talked about this on the Miami Outlook. Their record in one run games last year was really good. And this year they've lost a lot of really close games. And it's like, is Miami, you look at Miami's record, 0-8 right now. Are they on paper, should they be an 0-8? Probably not. But I mean, it's been a tough start for them. They've had trouble cashing in runs. And I mean, credit to the Angels. They had a good series. They pitched really well in that series, and obviously Mike Trout carrying the load offensively for them, which is really good to see.
Yeah, Taylor Ward also already has
Yep.
3 home runs, so we'll see if he's back to his 2021 self.
Yep.
Um, Yankees Arizona was a great series.
Yeah, it was.
Yesterday, the last game of the series came down to bases loaded with the reliever up because the Diamondbacks unloaded their bench. If you had to guess, yeah, that reliever struck out with the bases loaded, and the Yankees go home to New York. But take the series. It was actually a really good series. We expected it to be, and
Yep.
it lived up to the hype.
Yep.
Twins Brewers. It was we said we didn't want to do a split there. It was a 2-game series.
Mm-hmm.
So we both take the L on that one, but it was a split.
Yep.
Pretty competitive series. And then Mets got wrapped up this afternoon against Detroit. Pete Alonso hit a home run in the last inning. Um, Ball at his shins,
Yep.
put it out,
Great.
and they walked off for their first win of the year. The Mets desperately needed that one.
Yep.
And then lastly, Atlanta and the White Sox. We're gonna have to wait for the result of that one. It was a 1-1 tie. It wasn't as lopsided as we thought it would be. The first game was. Second game, the White Sox came out and won it. And then yeah, that'll do it for our recap for this week. Now heading into next week, or sorry, not next week, this weekend.
Yep.
There's actually some pretty good matchups, starting with the Red Sox at the Angels. Home opener for the Halos. It's going to be Cutter Crawford versus Griffin Canning, and then Whitlock Detmers, Tanner Houck, and Chase Silseth wrapping it up. Who are you taking in this one?
I'm gonna take the Angels. Like you said, home opener weekend for them. The crowd's gonna be fired up. Mike Trout's off to a really good start. The Red Sox, I don't know. Like Like these pitching matchups are really good. Don't get me wrong, but I think the Angels are going to probably win 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Angels as well. Actually going to the game tomorrow, so hopefully we see them win, at least for my sake, right? Heading into the next series here, we got the White Sox versus Kansas City, Soroka versus Lugo, Eric Fetty versus Singer, Chris Flexen versus Waka. Ah, man, the White Sox are so bad. I'm going to take the Kansas City to win this series pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm honestly predicting a sweep on this one. It's tough. It's going to be a long year for White Sox fans, which is tough because it wasn't long ago where they had a pretty exciting core to watch. So it's tough.
Yep. Battle of Texas this weekend. Houston versus Texas. Hunter Brown versus Bradford. Grants versus Gray. And Blanco is coming off the no-hitter against Dane Dunning. Man, I'm going to take Texas in this one. Blake, who do you got?
I got Houston winning this. Houston got off to a 1-6 start, or not a 1-6 start. It was what 2-5 start. It wasn't a start that they wanted to start off with a sweep over the Yankees, but they're slowly starting to get going. Alvarez with a couple homers yesterday against the Jays, so hopefully he gets kickstarted offensively.
Yep. Toronto versus the Yankees. It's the Yankees home opener. We got Yusei Kikuchi versus Stroman early in the morning, at least Pacific time tomorrow, 10
Yeah,
a.m., 1 a.m. start Eastern.
yeah.
Kevin Gosman versus Clark Schmidt on Saturday, and Bowden Francis versus Luis Gil on Sunday. The Yankees have looked unreal to start the season, as expected. The Jays can't hit to save their lives. I'm taking the Yankees in this series.
Yeah, I'm taking the Yankees in this one too. Honestly, the Jays might win the Kevin Gosman start because he's nasty. But if you told me if I went back on Sunday and saw the Jays got swept in the Bronx, would not be surprised.
Dang. All right, A's versus Detroit. We got JP Sears versus Tariq Skubal, who looked nasty.
Yep.
In his last start. Paul Blackburn versus Maeda, and Joe Boyle versus Jack Flaherty. If you're not taking whoever's playing the A's, then you're doing it wrong. I'm taking the Detroit Tigers at home to beat the A's. Blake,
Yeah, I'll take the Tigers too. Sidebar question here for you. Over under wins for the A's this year. What do you got? Serious question here. Like, are they going to win more than 30 games?
over 30. Under
Under 50?
51. 51.
50, you're
I'm gonna
sending
give
that.
them 50.
You're giving them 50. I might take the under on that. It's tough. Like, it's tough to watch.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
boy.
Guardians at Twins. Actually started off today.
Yeah.
Tanner Bybee versus Pablo Lopez, Carlos Carrasco versus Joe Ryan, and Tristan McKenzie versus Ober. We did make these predictions before the game started today. I took the Guardians and Blake took
The
the
Twins.
Twins,
Yep.
who the Guardians have already won game one of that series.
Yep.
But it should be a good division rival matchup in that one.
Yeah, obviously, really good pitching matchups too. Joe Ryan's off to a good start, and obviously, the ace Pablo Lopez is continuing his good start too.
Yep. Next, we got the Phillies versus the Nationals. The Phillies got to get a series win. I'm going to take the Phillies in this one.
Yep.
It's going to be Aaron Nola versus Patrick Corbin, Ranger Suarez versus Jake Irvin, and Christopher Sanchez versus Mackenzie Gore. So I'm going to take the Phillies. They need to get back on track. They just lost the first two series to start the season.
Yeah.
And what do you got?
I'm gonna take the Phillies as well. Probably via sweep on this one. I just like their pitching matchups the best.
Yeah. Mets at Reds. Reds have pulled out some games early this season. It's going to be Jose Quintana versus Hunter Green, Luis Severino versus Nick Martinez, and Sean Manaea versus Andrew Abbott. Who are you taking in this one?
I'm taking Cincinnati. I think they're off to a really good start. A guy to watch for Cincinnati is Ellie De La Cruz, struggling a little bit. Picked it up the last couple games, but not off to the start that he wanted. Hopefully, he gets going a little bit. And those youngsters, Encarnacion had a big hit for them in the last series. So, Encarnacion Strand, pardon me. But yeah, I think they're gonna win this series.
Yeah, I can't triple down on the
I
Mets.
was
I
gonna
picked them the
say,
first two series. It's got to be the Reds on this one. And the next one, we got the Padres versus the Giants. The last time they played, it was a 4-game series. We took the split. We got the split.
yep.
This time it's going to be Dylan Cease versus Hicks, King versus Wynn, and Waldron versus Webb. I'm going to go with the Padres this time around. The Giants just haven't got it going yet. But they're at home, and we'll see what happens. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Giants here. I think Jordan Hicks looked nasty in his first start for them. That's a really intriguing pitching matchup to watch. If you want to turn the game on late. This rivalry excites me. This is these two are gonna go head to head for a long time this year. They're super close in how they look in terms of the standings, how it's going to shake out. It's exciting to watch.
Yep. In the next series, we have Miami versus Cardinals, which did start today as well.
Yep.
It was Ryan Weathers versus Lance Lynn. The Cardinals ended up pulling out their home opener day, home opener today. Got it there. It was an exciting one. Cardinals came back late.
Yep.
Marlins blew another game. They're 0-8 to start the season. We got 2 games left here.
Yep.
Before this game happened, we did predict the Cardinals, both of us, to take this series.
Mhm.
And so far so good with them taking day one.
I just got a question here. How long is it till like you're in a huge hole? Like you're 0-8 already in April. Like you get into
They're in the hole.
but no,
They're in the
they're
hole
in the
already.
hole for sure. But like how much deeper can you go? Like you
This
gotta
is this is a very similar situation to last year's Padres, I feel
right,
like how they got in the hole early and they tried to battle back, and then we got to September and they started to show some life.
right.
It was just too late. Obviously they lost Jorge Soler this year. They
Hmm.
don't look bad on paper, but they
No,
just lost Perez as well today to
right.
Tommy John. So I think it might just be, I mean, right now at least, safe to assume this might be a lost year and there might be some movement at the deadline.
Yeah.
But in this next series, this one's probably going to be the best one of the weekend.
Yep.
We have Arizona versus Atlanta. Atlanta's at home. Henry versus Strider. Fott versus Freed. And Nelson versus Sale.
Hmm.
The Braves pitching just is lining up too good right now for me to take the D-backs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Atlanta at home. Obviously, in my opinion, the best team in the league. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you on Atlanta. Hopefully hoping for a bounce back from Freed. Didn't fare too well in his first start of the season. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Braves. They're deep pitching, deep lineup, and it's gonna be a good series, hopefully.
yep. And this next one, we have the Dodgers versus the Cubs, Bobby Miller versus Hendricks, Yamamoto versus Wicks, and Gavin Stone versus Imanaga, who pitched very, very well in that
Mhm.
home opener for the Cubs. But I am going to take the Dodgers. They do look good. They're clicking. Bobby Miller looked electric in his first start. Yamamoto had a much better second start. Maybe they win game 3 against Stone. I mean, Stone looked good too. So
Yep.
I'm going to take the Dodgers. Who do you got?
I'm gonna take the Cubs here. I think this is gonna be a little upset alert. Maybe not an upset. Cubs are a pretty good team. I mean the Dodgers eventually gotta lose a series, right? This might be the one. I don't know. That might be a horrible take and they might get swept, but I can see them winning.
Yep. In the interleague, right here, we got Tampa versus Colorado, Zach Littell versus Austin Gomber, Tyler Alexander versus Feltner, Pepio versus Hudson. If you're taking, much like the A's, if you're taking the A's or the Rockies, you're crazy. I'm taking Tampa over Colorado.
Yeah.
Probably a sweep because they are bad.
Yeah. I am I I will join you with that one. It's gonna be a tough year for the old Oakland A's and the Colorado Rockies.
Alrighty. Next, we got Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. This is an intriguing matchup here. Rodriguez versus Jones, Wells versus Falter, and Kramer versus Gonzalez. I'm gonna stick with the O's. I think they need to they're gonna lose a series soon, but it's not gonna be against the Pirates. But the Pirates do look good. They're
Yep.
riding the vibes. They did this last year too, and then some injuries kind of derailed it.
Yep.
I think they might be for real. I could see the Pirates making a little push this year,
Yep.
but the O's are really, really good. I mean, their AAA team is just putting up like 20 runs a night as well. So there's a lot of talent to come there.
Well, I mean,
But who are you taking?
you look at the AAA. Like, I mean, there's three guys in there that should be on the Orioles right now. Stowers and Kerstad and Jackson Holiday. They should all be up with the Orioles. That's a great problem to have. That being said, I'm gonna take the Pirates to win this series. Like you said, vibes are high in Pittsburgh right now. They had a pretty decent off season. Yeah, I like Pittsburgh in this series, and they're at home.
Alrighty. And wrapping it up with the Seattle Mariners at the Milwaukee Brewers. It's Logan Gilbert versus Freddie Peralta, Bryce Miller versus DL Hall, and Emerson Hancock versus Colin Ray. I like Seattle's pitching better in this series. I
Yep.
think that Gilbert versus Peralta might be one of the games to watch this week.
Yep.
But with that said, the Mariners really aren't swinging it that well.
Hmm.
They're not, but I'm gonna say that they get it going against Milwaukee, and I'll take the Mariners in this last one.
Yeah, I'll take the Brewers on this one. I'm a huge fan of Freddie Peralta. Colin Ray looked really good in his first start of the season as well. So that's something to keep an eye on. DL Hall, obviously one of the pieces coming over in the Corbin Burns trade for them. So we'll see how he pans out. Southpaw for them. So yeah, I'll take the Brewers on this one. A lot of intriguing matchups this week, and it's gonna be exciting baseball to watch.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Blake, as we look at our predictions as a whole, what's the most intriguing series that you think for this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's the Battle of Texas for me. Houston's not off to the start that they want, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in that one.
Yeah, I think mine would be Arizona versus Atlanta. Um, Arizona's coming off of 2 losses from the Yankees. Now I got to go to the Braves. Tough schedule making right there. So that's tough for the D-backs, but they've looked well. They've looked good so far. So we'll see what happens in that one. Um, Other than that, do you have anything else to add?
No, it's gonna be really intriguing matchups. There's a lot of good series to watch, and hopefully that lives up to the hype.
Perfect. Sounds good. Well, if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. And then we'll see you on the next one. Later.